But just don't lie to people about where your money really comes from. You know, so like if you made $5 million this year and a couple $100,000 came from trading, and then you said, yeah, trading made me $5 million this year, like that's just disingenuous. You have to be able to you have to really be able to let go of anybody like that stands in your way. You know? So like my parents, like I say all the time, my parents came in my room. They were like, "Why aren't you working? What are you doing? You need to go back to school. You have nothing going on. You're a loser." Like, really negative things that my parents would say to me, and I just was like, and not that I said "fuck you," but I pretty much was like, "Yo, like I'm locked in here. Like I'm on this journey, and I don't care who it is." What's going on, everybody? This is James Storms. I have two fantastic guests with me here. We have the lovely Tori Trades and Ali Trades. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Hey, thanks for having me. Good.
Absolutely. Feeling good?
Oh yeah, I'm in Miami like 4 days now. I'm sold.
4 days in.
I'm sold. That's it.
4 days out of 30, and you're already, yeah. There's a reason why a lot of people live here and come here, because it's just, it's good vibes. So I have you guys here. We're all in the same boat. We are some honest kids here. I just want to let everyone know that we're honest.
This is not sponsored by Honest.
No, this is a podcast about honesty. But all right. So I just want to obviously let the people know a little bit more about you. Like I know we've both all done podcasts, so let's try and minimize and share things that we might not have shared before. Yeah. But why don't you start, Tori? Just tell us a little bit about your upbringing and just your life before trading, during trading, like where it is now, and
yeah.
Go ahead.
I would say trading never even crossed my mind for most of my life, at all. It was, I think maybe I wanted to be like an actress for a long time.
Okay.
Let's see what
hair
else.
thing?
Oh, I did do hair school. Thank you. Thank you. He knows
but
better
you won't
than
do
I
my cornrows.
We're not there yet. Not there yet. It's gonna take some practice.
Okay.
But I did hair school for a while. I didn't really do very well in school, to be honest. Like it wasn't.
You went to college?
You really like. Yeah, you went to college.
I did go to college. I went for like a semester, but like all of elementary school, junior high, high school, like I barely made it.
And what was it like? You just were not passionate about it at all. You never had any. You never had any like aspiration to like go to college, or what was it for you that you just were so off put by school?
I think one contributing factor is my parents were not strict, so they didn't even care if I barely made it, which is wild because that's normally like the one determining factor. It's like you were either going to get an A or you're not, and I was like, all right, if I don't gotta get an A, I'm not gonna get an A.
And this was in Nashville.
So I grew up in Jacksonville.
Okay, Jacksonville.
So I grew up in Jacksonville. I went to the same high school. Have you guys heard of Red Jumpsuit Apparatus? It's like this alternative punk band.
I have not. Yeah, okay.
Well, I went to the same, a high school in BFE, like nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's funny that I ended up going to one set of kids made it out of there, and then I guess I'm the other one, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
But yeah, it was in the sticks. It was North Florida though, so it's very close to Georgia. It felt very southern. It was like a dirt road. Lived in trailers. But school, I was the new kid in almost every single grade. So like, I felt pretty invisible in school. Didn't make too many friends, and like then I didn't have to make very good grades, so it was easy to just kind of like float through school. So I never had the drive to like excel at school or listen to the teachers, or like I just kind of was in my own world,
just
like
funny,
for most of school.
I do like growing up, like I grinded the heck out of school. Like I did all this work, and like I look back on it and I'm like, bro, I didn't even go to college. Like I got 4.0s. Bro, my senior year I had a 4.1 GPA. Like I was taking college classes in high school, like not wasting, but spending so much time.
That came from your own drive, or your parents were influencing that?
I mean, they influenced it after they saw my own drive. I just didn't like to fail.
Right.
Like so, it was like no matter what I did. Like,
even when you were in elementary school, like you were always like a overachiever.
Oh
type,
yeah, big time
in school. And
I was reading at like a 2nd grade level in kindergarten.
Okay, all right.
Everybody was reading out of these books.
That's a weird flex.
Everybody was reading out. No, it's because everybody was reading out of these books, and then there was like 5 books that my teacher would just like separate from me.
Yeah. Okay, I mean it's good. You were excelling, bro. It's
No, yeah, but like I did all of that. Went to college for like 2 weeks, and I was like, nah, I'm straight. Like I'm out.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
And you dropped out.
Yeah.
Done.
Interesting.
How about you,
And-
James?
Well, yeah. For me with school, yeah, no, I always was very apathetic about school. I didn't even like to go to school. Like I would do whatever I could to just not go. Like I'd wake up and I'd be like, damn, I don't want to. Like I would fake being sick all the time.
Oh, same,
yeah.
Like, I would
same.
all
Well,
the
I've gone
time.
to the nurse's office tons of times.
Like
to go home.
in I think 6th grade, I missed like 60 days out of like
Yeah.
180
Wow.
day school year.
Wow.
So that's
Was
really
that, like, on the cusp
that's
of, like,
literally,
being okay?
Every 2 days, the third day, James is not at school today.
Okay.
When they
all
send
right.
the notice of, hey, you know,
Yeah.
you gotta.
In senior year of high school, they took 15 points off of all of my classes because I missed so
Damn.
many days. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was very apathetic. I would put my books down when I got home. I wouldn't touch them until the next day. Like I
Yeah.
just didn't do any homework at home. I don't know what it was. I just didn't.
I-
It wasn't that I
feel
wasn't
that.
good at school.
You just didn't want to do
because-
it.
Yeah, it was. And my philosophy was, I understand the concepts. Why do I need to do this extra review and homework when I already I would always pay attention in school, like to
Yeah.
the teacher. I'd always look at the teacher. I would always give them my time. I wouldn't take any notes at all. Like teachers would be like, "All right, James, you're gonna write this down. You're gonna write this down." I'd be like, I would just flat out say, "No, I'm not.
I'm not doing
I'm not gonna write this down." They gave me the test and I have a 95, and like the teacher,
Okay.
like, "Oh, if you would just try a little
If you
harder,
did your
you'd be
homework
so
and-
good and this
Yeah.
and that." But I don't know. Once I got into, because I always wanted to be a doctor, right? Like that was what my aspiration was up until
Like, what type of doctor?
middle school or so. I mean, I always liked surgery. You know, like I always like wanted to be like very
I can't
like
even like.
meticulous. you
I
know,
can't
like-
even bother to see like needles puncture skin, bro.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Like even like in the movies or whatever. Like I'm like.
Yeah, I mean, you develop a callousness for it, or you
Yeah,
know,
But
or
if
you
it's
just
happening
fold,
to
you know,
me,
or
like I
whatever,
have to
yeah.
watch it. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, I was in all honors heading into middle school,
Okay.
right?
Let's
And
go,
then,
me and you, bro.
but you can't be in all honors like and not do your work. It's just like that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So like I've quickly failed out of all honors, and I don't know. I just hated it. So it wasn't until probably, I don't know. I mean, I started working very early. Like I started, you know, I loved making money. So
Yeah,
like I
same.
would always do like odd jobs. I would like
You ever sell sneakers?
I would shovel snow like every winter. Like every time there was snow on the ground, me and my boys were out like making
Okay.
a couple $100s,
Hustling.
whatever.
All right.
Yeah, and then started doing the sneaker thing around like 13, 14 years old. I started buying, I bought my first pair of Jordans, were like Beijing 6s, 2008 Beijing 6. I bought them for like $130, and
I
then
Okay.
got my first
I
Jordans.
wore them and sold them for $120. So like I lost $10 on that deal,
But
but like
you wore them.
I still wore them. Yeah,
Yeah.
like whatever. I got my use out of them and still maintained
I
the
mean-
value. So like then I started buying more shoes. Like as I was making a little more money, I don't know. I paid like maybe the next deal I did was like 3 or 4 shoes for like $500-$600 for my boy, and I was nervous. Like I hid them from my parents because I was like, damn, I just spent like $600-$700 on these shoes. Like
Yeah.
I hope this all goes out. I don't want my parents to be mad at me or whatever. Like I was just worried, but I ended up making good money on that deal.
Nice.
Like I made, I don't know, like another like $500, and that's what I started doing. I started buying collections of shoes, doing the restorations, you know, cleaning
okay.
the canvas, like leather shoes. You could use the like a Mr. Clean eraser will take
Yeah.
out scuffs.
Oh my God, those are amazing.
You can use tooth whitener on the rubber soles to
Okay.
de-yellow them. You can do all types of. You could bleach the laces. You can put anything leather, like those like ones. Like basically, you can see how they crease there, like at the toe
Oh
box.
yeah. Yeah.
You can put a wet cloth over it and stuff it with like shoes and then an iron, and you can iron out the
Okay,
creases.
all
yeah,
right.
like and a shoe that's like $1,000 shoe, like you can actually make some good money. So then I started going to the sneaker conventions, and that's when I started making like decent money. I made like at least multiple 5 figures, like as
Was this in high
Okay.
school too?
yeah, in high school. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and then that's when I kind of started trading out. When I got out of high school, I started trading at like 20, almost 21. That's when
Okay.
I found out about it. But I was working. I was a lifeguard and worked in restaurants. I would work 2 or 3 jobs, like whatever I could do to make money. I loved making money because it was I felt useful.
Yeah.
Like I
Oh,
felt
yeah.
fulfilled and it just
Independent,
felt
too.
good. So yeah, so like
So were you-
and to
at
backtrack
that
to
point-
school. Go ahead.
At that point, were you more attached to the idea of the paper or the freedom that comes with it? At that point.
Nah, I didn't really have a taste of the freedom. Like I remember, I was a young kid.
So like
you don't
looking
really
back
have
on
much
it,
freedom as a
looking
kid.
back on it, like.
But
do
I
you
liked
think-
I liked having money and buying things and just like
Yeah.
because I never asked my parents for anything. Like I wasn't.
So
we
at least
weren't
the
like
freedom to
we
have,
weren't
to be
poor
able to
growing
buy
up, but like
something.
I've
Yeah.
seen my parents like miss bills and struggle. Like they have their own small businesses. So like we weren't like super lit, but like we weren't like in the slums either. But I never asked my parents for money because I just didn't like. I just never did. Like there might be one occasion where I swear like I remember one time I asked for money like go to the movies or whatever and get dinner or something. But other than that, I just liked having my own shit and just being independent and not having to
Yeah.
just do my like I'm an only child. Like I just like to be
I didn't
by
know.
myself and do my own thing. Like so. But yeah, going back to school. So like at high school, yeah, like I pretty much did all right. I just got by, and then when it was time to like actually once I graduated, it was time to go to college. I basically decided I was like, all right, fuck. Well, I guess I'll just go to community college. We had a Nassau community in Long Island. It's like a pretty decent community college. You can go from there, and then you can transition to like
that was my
wherever
plan.
the fuck you want, right? And then I did the placement test there, and I just missed the deadline to enroll in the class. I mean, I didn't even miss it. Like I missed it on purpose, obviously.
Okay,
and then I was like, all right, well now what am I gonna tell my parents? And I just didn't tell them anything. I told them I was going to school for like almost 2 years.
And how'd you get away with that?
I mean, like I told you, they both own small businesses,
Right,
so they're
yeah.
out of the house 8 a.m. They come home at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Like they're out of the crib all day, so they don't really know what was going on. They're like, yeah, how's school? I was like, yeah, school's good. Yeah, like I'm doing my homework. Like what? They didn't really. I mean, maybe they had their suspicions possibly,
sure.
but
They didn't really, they didn't think about it too deep.
didn't matter at the end of the day, right? So
Exactly.
To be honest, no.
But yeah, I just I had the potential with school, but I just knew that I always just knew inside of me that I was destined for not that getting a job or a degree is like a bad thing, because I don't think it is, but I just knew that wasn't for me.
It wasn't your path.
It wasn't my path. I'm not here to work a job. I'm not here to work in a cubicle. I'm not here to be someone else's lackey. Like I'm here to do my own thing, whatever that is. And I had seen both of my parents have businesses and do their own thing, so like I think that was also like a just something like tangible for me to see, like with my parents,
definitely.
that my mom went to FIT, my dad went to school for a little bit. He ended up going to trade school. Like he works with his hand, he does welding, and he has his own like metal business, so so I'd seen that, and I worked with them and I worked for them and did jobs for them, so like I'd seen and even in the restaurant industry, like if you work in a good restaurant, you can make $100K a year as serving tables,
I'm awful at being a server, by the way, so I don't see that possible whatsoever.
To do it really well, it's a tough job. Like if you want to provide good service at a
you just gotta have that in you.
Like, you have to have the tenacity for it. Like and you also have to. I feel like it's a good reason why I've been able to have good social skills is because I was always for years and years and years talking to people, interacting.
I can
psychology,
see that.
like selling. Selling is a skill, obviously. So it's important. But so that was pretty much my experience with school. So I'm sorry, we kind of cut you off like in your story, but let's go back to that.
So high school, I started working pretty early too. So my first job was like at the YMCA doing after school care.
Mm-hmm. I did that as well. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I worked at my elementary school. Yeah.
That's what
that
I
was
did.
one of the first jobs that I had. Yeah, I had started as like a pastry chef in this restaurant, and then I was working at an after-school program. Like it was like $20 an hour, like whatever they gave me.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, I'll take it.
The point is that like you recognize like, okay, I have this idle time. I need to do something productive with it.
Exactly.
And making money is never an unproductive thing, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah. Especially when you're younger, it's like you said earlier, it's just way cool to not have to ask your parents for money and buy your clothes.
And I think that's like an innate thing. Like either you have it or you don't. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of just like either you're born like driven to do that. Obviously, it probably comes from your parents and stuff like that. But I feel like some people just don't.
Yeah, I mean, or vice versa. So my mom growing up, like these struggles and like arguments that I always heard were the fact that they didn't have enough money, and like money made me uncomfortable to even talk about. So that in turn made me want to get my own.
Yeah, no, my parents definitely, like I said, there was times, my parents have had a very turbulent relationship, and money was a big thing. Money is a big thing, in a lot of relationships, and yeah, like it's not something that anybody should ever have to really stress about, like, especially what we've been exposed to, like, with the markets and everything. It's just there's so much money out there. It's just finding a way to access it and
Yes.
and
Did your
direct it
parents?
I believe that.
Did you guys' parents think trading was a scam?
Not a scam, but I would say
Just fake, or not?
no. Your parents always want to protect you from something that they might think is a bad decision.
Well, it's fun. I mean, my
Right,
dad.
right. And ultimately, like, it's up to once you fly out of the nest, like you're either splat on the ground with your bad
Oh
decisions,
my God,
or
right?
you fly.
That's
But-
exactly right.
But at a certain point, you have to just realize, like, hey, like, this is my flight. Like, my parents want me to fly over here. Like, I need to go where I want to go.
Yeah.
And again, you can easily crash. But
I mean,
you end up learning from it anyway.
Yeah.
So.
From my.
But they didn't think it was a scam, bro. But I think they just saw that I was unsuccessful for a while with it, and I wasn't. From an outsider looking in, I didn't really look. It probably would just be like, oh, he doesn't have much direction. He's playing video games. He's trading here and there, but it's not really consistent or materializing anything. But it's just how it goes. Like, either you're part of the journey or you're not. But only a trader can really understand what it takes to go through the motions of trying it out, failing, learning. It's just part of the process. And for all you out there watching, the most important thing is that nobody can share your vision but you. Like, nobody can really truly see the potential of where you're going but you. And there's gonna be people that are super close to you, that love you, that that you care about their opinion, and it hurts when
I know.
It hurts real bad when they don't necessarily share the same vision for you, or they don't see what you're seeing, and that's fine. It's you're gonna have to be willing to, like, relinquish everything.
Everything, yeah.
People, places, things, attachments, money, emotions, comfort, all that has to be able to. You have to be able to. You have to really be able to let go of anybody, like, that stands in your way. So, like, my parents, like I say all the time, my parents came in my room. They were like, "Why aren't you working? What are you doing? You need to go back to school. You have nothing going on. You're a loser." Like, really negative things that my parents would say to me, and I just was like, and not that I said "fuck you," but I pretty much was like, "Yo, like, I'm locked in here. Like, I'm on this journey, and I don't care who."
You knew
it is.
where your
I really don't
destination.
care. Like, I
you
don't
knew
care
where you
who
were
it is.
trying to get to, and that you were gonna get there.
Right.
Essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
So but that's what it takes.
I'd say for my family, see, yours sounds tough. I got nothing but encouragement, words of affirmation, some hugs, some kisses. They're like, "You're gonna make it," because my uncle was the one teaching me.
I mean, my mother and father definitely instilled a lot of self-belief, and that's part of the reason why I was so
headstrong about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, was because of that. My mom always told me, "You're so capable. You're whatever. That motherly." Well, what she's supposed to do, but But that's ultimately what allowed me to flourish and I always had this confidence about myself. Like, even when I was young, like, I just like, not that I was better than anybody. I would just walk around the hallways of school and just be like, "Yo, I'm not like these people. Like, my clothes are fresher. Like, my fit is cool. Like, I'm just cooler. Like, in the least arrogant way, like, possible. But I just felt like, yo, I'm just different. Like, I just don't move or think like you. And
I agree.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I feel that.
You're supposed to be different. But I just felt like I had something about me that other people didn't possess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like growing up, when I was a kid, my mom used to hate this, but my dad would always say, like, Ali's ahead of his age. And it would just get in my head, like, yeah, what's up? Like, I'm ahead of my age. I think more advanced than you guys,
right.
and it carried me. What's
Yeah,
funny is
you have to learn how to like channel that as well,
Yeah.
because it can be like there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance or cockiness or whatever. So you definitely.
But I use that as like
when it comes
fuel.
to trading, because you'll be humbled like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, which is what happened to me. I always felt like I always went aggressive as fuck, but I had a lot of humbling experiences, and then eventually
Just taught you how to pick and choose when to be aggressive.
Exactly, the selectivity is what you learn.
Yeah. Like, bro, my trading, when I started, my parents were extremely anti because my dad went broke in the stock market. Like, when it crashed,
I didn't know that.
When it crashed, my dad lost.
2008?
I think there was another one before that, in like 02.
Yeah. The dot-com bubble.
Honestly, I feel like, so then, and I think in 08, my dad, I'm not sure which one exactly, like if it was just one, my dad went like broke. Like, I remember, it was 2001, because I remember as a kid, my uncle used to like give me and my siblings money. And I remember this one time my dad asked my siblings and I to borrow money. So my dad was a salesman at a car dealership, and he asked like from each one of us, like, "Yo, can I borrow money? Like, I need it during this time." And like growing up and realizing like, dude, we couldn't even pay our bills like
That's
at
wild.
that point. So when I was entering,
That's real shit,
my
yeah.
dad was terrified. Like what
Right.
are you doing? He's thinking I've lost my mind. He's like,
Right.
I've been down that path. It's
Right,
not good.
because he basically tried to,
Yeah.
not impose a decision on you, but he just, this is my experience. I had a
Yeah.
bad experience. Let me save my son from having
Exactly,
this
yeah.
bad experience. And at the end of the day, like if you really want to give it its fair shot, you have to just obtain your own experience.
Yeah, I completely agree with
Simple
that.
as
You
that.
can tell your kids or tell
Dude, we would argue
anyone
so
anything.
hard.
You've got to experience it
Right.
yourself.
Yeah. No, we argued like so
Because
so
there's
much.
people, I'm telling you, like people, like this shit is real. Like people are not gonna believe in you. You know, like
Yeah.
I lost a lot of friendships, relationships.
bro.
Like one of my best friends, like I don't talk to him anymore because it was a lot of things. But basically, he just, I could just tell he was treating me differently because he just saw that I wasn't successful and I wasn't really like, like people just turn their noses up at you. Oh,
Yeah.
you're doing that, like fuck you, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and now I'm like, oh well, fuck you. Basically,
I will say,
you know?
bro, like I've seen that, but like my closest boy, like growing up, Ryan, like bro, I remember I was down, like I'd feel like shit because I was broke, and he told me one day, bro, I was just so down. He's a very quiet person, but he just kind of like pressed me. He's like, bro, like why are you down? Like your time is coming. Like I know you're gonna bloom. Like I see this shit in you. He was already making money, bro, but he never looked down on me, and I appreciate that so much. He pretty much told me like, bro, don't even stress about the timing or anything. You're gonna do it. You work harder than anybody. I fucking know. Like, and bro,
that's valuable,
having
bro.
that drive, bro, that's core memory. To me, like, I still feel
That
like
was-
when
that
I
was
say
me,
that,
was
bro,
me
like,
to me, basically. You know?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
me to me.
Yeah, I would say like I've been blessed with the people around me and the things they've told me. Obviously, like, I chose to channel out everybody who said otherwise. So like I don't
Right.
even remember that. Like,
Yeah, it's a very internal journey. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody, you're gonna have supporters, naysayers. It's all about how you feel inside of here.
exactly.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't let any of that like truly like enter your inner matrix.
But yeah, I
You'll
was
be
like,
alright,
as far as like learning everything, dude. I mean, that was definitely a journey and a half. But I know you learned from your uncle, so like,
I did, and he
Yeah,
was. I had nothing but words of encouragement. So it's cool to have someone. I feel like on this journey, if you've got friends that don't keep up with you and they stay in that same spot, like those will never be the ones to like.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Push
Like,
you or support
that's why
you.
you gotta move. A lot of times, like moving out of your hometown is
Oh my
they say
God,
it's
it's
a cheat code.
crazy.
Like
It is.
it really is because you end up staying in the same routines that you've been doing your whole life that that necessarily don't really get you anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
trying a new thing is what got you in the door with trading. Like staying in that same routine, hanging with the same people. They're likely doing the same. Like, no disrespect to my boys, but like the same. I used to work at Morton Steakhouse, and I got a lot of my boys hired, and it's a great job. Like I said, you can be making $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year as a server there, which is great money, but you're basically at the ceiling there. There's
Yeah.
there's no room for mobility there at that point. So like,
I even almost got into the car industry because my dad went from a salesman to a general manager, and when I turned like 18, I told him like, hey, why don't you let me come work for you? And his words were, you're gonna come work for me. You're gonna make maybe $200,000 this year as an 18-year-old, and you're gonna feel amazing. You're gonna live on a high, and then you're gonna be stuck in that same position for the rest of your life. And he's like, he didn't want that for me. And even my brother Muhammad had his own business, and I would beg him like, bro, please hire me. Like, I'm trying to make money. Please hire me.
Oh my gosh.
And he'd be like, no. And he would never tell this to me, but later on I found out he would tell my mom. My mom would be like, dude, why won't you hire your brother? And he's like, because I know he has so much more in store for him. And so like, bro, looking back on things like that and then waking up and seeing like where I'm at, like I know I'm not where I'm gonna be yet,
right.
but I'm on the way there, and I recognize
Yeah,
those things that they did, bro, came huge way to me. Like I could have been stuck in working as a salesman, stuck in LA.
Just
like,
trust the journey, bro. Like
Yeah.
just fully relinquish all your your everything about outcomes. Like everything is, a lot of people are outcome dependent. Oh well, I had a bad experience here. I like why am I not successful? Why am I not where I want to be? Like all those questions, all that, like it's not about the outcomes. It's about the work you put in, and the outcome eventually would be favorable.
and even if the outcome is bad, bro, like why not rewrite it?
No, of course. I'm just saying.
That's one thing I'm huge on, bro. Like if I had a bad experience somewhere, I want to go there again and make a good memory. Or like if something holds me back, I know I have to go face it. So like if I'm afraid of something, whether it's talking to a girl, whether it's heights or something, like The second I feel like I'm scared, I'm like, okay, now I know I have to go do it just to prove to myself nothing can hold me back.
Right. No, it's all your subconscious. I have a video that I took of me jumping off a bridge in
I've seen this
in Washington when I was staying with my boy, and it was like a 70-foot jump or so, like 65 feet, and I was there, and like I was with somebody. I mean, it was obviously like not the wisest decision, but like I understood that it was generally safe. Like I asked a bunch of people. I said, "Hey, people jump? Yeah, people jump here. They do backflips all the time. Crazy kids coming like." And it was like high season with the water and stuff, so it was like 20 feet deep. But like I jumped from underneath the bridge to check and make sure. But once you step on front of that railing and you look down, it's like 70 feet. Like it's pretty sketchy when you're like, I have to step off and do it. But in my head, I'm like, damn, if I don't do this right now, like I'm a fucking bitch, like straight up. And all it does is everything comes down to your subconscious brain. You know, like that's why I say all the time that I don't say the words try or if ever.
Ooh, okay.
You know, because the moment you say if I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna try to do this, you're telling your brain that there's the outcome of failing, right? Which that outcome is always there. We always have to acknowledge it, but you have to believe that no matter what happens, it's gonna be done.
Even when I ran track,
and
oh my bad.
Yeah. You're interrupting my clip. That was a clip right now. But basically, I'm just saying, like I don't say try or if because the moment you say those things, like I said, you know, you're telling your subconscious brain that, oh well, if I try to do it, like it's just lazy. It's just like lazy in your behavior. You have to think about the words that you're saying. So, I just say when it'll happen, or you have to affirm, you have to believe it, like with every fiber in your body. Like I said, without whether or not the outcome is in your favor or not, you try your best. You do your absolute everything in your power to make it happen, and that's why like with the bridge. I basically, like, I told myself, yo, if I don't do this, then the next time, like, there's a huge trade in front of me, and, like, it's the same thing. Like, I trade, like, jumping off a bridge is the same way I trade. Like, it's like, like, it's got to be extreme. It's got to be visceral. It's got to be, you know? So, like, it's the same thing. Like, the same mentality that I apply in my trading and my life it's all the same. It has to be in unison, like, the same decision making, you know? Yeah. So.
And it's got to come from within. So, even I had the opportunity to have someone tell me that. My uncle told me to my face, he's like, you're going to be better than me. You're going to be one of the best traders.
Yeah,
like,
right.
But until you truly, that wasn't until years later that you have to believe it yourself.
That's what a good mentor is supposed to do, right? Like, somebody has all this, you said like 30 years has been trading, right? So 30 years worth of experience, like you should get where he's at in half the time, right? Like in 15 years, you should be where he's at in his 30 years. You know, like where I'm 6 years in, Ali is pretty much where I'm at, like 3 years in or so, so that's what a good mentor is supposed to do. What?
Maybe 4 years in.
Nah.
I mean, bro, give me like 2 more months.
Nah, well, all right, let me see 100K day, bro, because that's about 3.5 years in, and I started having 100K days.
I'm about 2.5 years in right now, so.
All right, so we'll see then. Time will tell.
But I've been with you for about almost a year.
Yeah. Yep.
Big catalyst.
Yep.
All right, James, I got a question for you. This is something that I'm struggling with as of today specifically. And I told you a little bit about this. Okay, so my trading plan, it's easy. My strategy, it's easy. It's simple. Mm-hmm. When, lines get crossed, you get in. Right. Opposing trend line keeps you safe.
They're very algorithmic way to trade. Yeah.
And I am finding myself, there's probably a lot of things that are contributing to this, but one, I had my best day ever. I guess it's been maybe a little bit more than a week now.
2 weeks.
And I'm trying to get back into it. First of all, coming back in.
You're trying to, or you're going to?
Well, I'm back. Or I'm already back in.
You see that? You see how that? Every time I hear people say that, I'm like, are you trying to? Or you're going to?
Yeah,
like,
we are in.
Because I'm doing it's better to just say, yeah, I'm getting back into, like, instead of I'm trying to get back into it. It's like it just leaves that gray area of like.
I can back off.
Yeah.
You should. I'm not. It's no disrespect to you. Like,
no, absolutely not. I'll take it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, at least for me, like when I hear myself say that, I'm like, wait a minute. Like that doesn't sound like I'm confident about it.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So we're back in it. We're back in.
Exactly.
And I'm finding myself like hesitating, feeling strange about some of these trades. I'm closing early. And then not only that, but now I feel like this overwhelming sense of pressure. And I've gone through
to outperform your best.
That, yes, and to uphold the social media, and like there are so many things right now.
Right.
I'm actually struggling in my
Right.
trading right now.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's definitely, that's why like I take periodic breaks, because like obviously when I'm building the prop firm, like it took out so much of my daily time that I just didn't feel comfortable. Even like I haven't done signals and stuff in a while. Like, you know, I have a whole group and a lot of people, you know, paid for it. Like, but I let my group know, I'm like, hey guys, you know, I'm not 100%, 10% in trading right now, like on the charts, like I want to be. And I don't feel comfortable giving you guys a trade or even taking trades on my own personal account. Like if I'm not 100% dedicated to the craft of trading, you know.
Yeah.
So like,
So
and
what was your
I'm
solution to
aware
that?
enough to know that I needed to take a step back to just, you know, because you only get so much sunshine and you get one thing of water to, you know, for your plants every day, right? So like my plant, I was growing, you can only grow so much simultaneously before you start to starve the plants, right? So I just feel like it's best for me to just like, I'll know when I'm ready, basically, you know, like, and throughout my journey I've always you know, gone really hard and then taking breaks, and gone really hard and taking breaks. So
But you didn't just sit down. You enjoyed. You rewarded yourself for going really hard.
right, I agree. But even the times where I wasn't really so successful, I just understood like, damn, like I have a really, like my mental is just not, you know.
Yeah.
I just feel I'm not at peace right now. Like I'm still too attached to the last trade where like I made a mistake and I fucked up, or I had this much profit and then you dwell, if you're dwelling on like the past, that means you can't look at the future, right? Or you can't look at even the present. So you need to be at peace with everything that happened in the past, whether it's a good trade. A good trade can even disturb your peace.
That was
you know,
today.
like,
I closed a $5,600 trade, and I'm like,
congrats.
I don't
That's
feel.
fire.
I mean, it's a win, but I felt awful about it.
Right, you felt
She
it
aborted
wasn't
her normal
fulfilling.
plan.
Yeah.
To she closed early, essentially.
And you would have made more money, or you
Yeah.
should still be in the trade.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, and why do you think? What can you like
if you take a step
quantify like
back-
that you were feeling that you wanted to close a trade?
One is I'd had a loss previous that would have evened it out, and I can't think, okay, yes, I made that loss up, so now it doesn't exist. Like I can't think that way, but I think one of two things
So you close the trade to erase the loss?
Yeah.
Is what you feel
yeah
like?
yeah
Okay. And do you think you feel like you were attached to the money, or like?
Yes.
Because it sounds like you're just letting the dollar sign amounts like
100%.
affect and it's hard. It's never gonna go away. Like you know,
unless
you
I get
can't-
rid of the dollar sign.
unless you just cover up the the
Yeah.
screen or whatever. But yeah, that's why I try not to when I'm holding a trade or floating a trade, I really try not to look at the numbers. So obviously you're gonna glance at it here and there, but I really just try to be disciplined and look at it just on the chart. And when I'm looking at the chart, no M1, no M5, not even like maybe M15 or M3. But I like just watching the H1 or H4 candles. Like let them close, let them close, let them close. Because there's a lot of times where, M5 will start to retrace, but then you'll look at H1 and it's just a bearish candle, wick, bearish candle.
Yeah.
Wick, pay attention to each closure. Like I think that's so important. Like of the higher time frames, and then daily closes, H4 closes, all that. So I think that's just way better. Like for your psychology, like to just maintain the trade that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, don't let all the dollar signs are irrelevant. Like it's all, like you've made money, we've all made money. Like we're not fucking starving like we used to
Yeah,
be. Like
yeah.
so, like things could be worse. So
Absolutely.
So I think it's best to just like really detach from. Okay, you're coming off a high point, obviously, so
Very
things
much
are
so.
a little shaken up for you, like in
Yeah.
your career, in a good way, right?
You
Yeah,
hit
in the
like a
best
good
way.
milestone, right?
Yeah.
Like you doubled your last.
There's
biggest
always
trade.
going to be
Yeah.
pressure for you to outperform. Even myself, it's like, damn, like I don't even want to post trades. It's like, damn, I've had
Exactly.
$300,000-$400,000
That's how I'm
trades.
feeling.
Like,
That's how I'm
I don't even
feeling.
want to post this trade. But remember, like $5,000 over the next 4 trades is another $20,000. You know what I'm saying? So like it's don't let those little trades like get washed out, like because they're not so spectacular or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because they add like, how do you win a baseball game? Most baseball games are not won with home runs, or they're won with RBIs, singles, doubles, base hits. Scoring runs. Like that's it. If the scoreboard is going up, then you should. That like because there's somebody that on the opposite end of that trade that lost $5,000 or lost $50,000 or lost. You didn't lose, so like that's a W in the book no matter what. So I wouldn't dwell on. You're gonna have another great trade it's going to surpass your 20K without a doubt.
Yeah.
But don't don't dilute the little ones in between that beef that your account's still.
That's
if your
fair.
account's going up, now you can take more risk and you can put yourself in position to have that next great trade. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
don't just be at peace with it. You know, okay, you might have fucked up, you might have taken a loss, you made it back, like you're kind of at break even. You're like
Right,
but
right.
just go hard. That's it. Like that's the best thing I could say is just go harder than you did before and just be even more, because now you have more experience. You know, you have more exposure to the numbers. You know, so it's never gonna get easier. Like, and I don't
No.
think as people that we are, like high achievers, like you're gonna always want to push the envelope and go further. Like I know I'm gonna have a $500,000 and $1 million day, but I don't know when that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like I know it's going to happen, but I don't really care when it happens because like right now I'm just good. Everything's good. Bills are paid. Vacations happening, dinners, like whatever. I'm enjoying my life and I'm not really tripping about. But I always have that desire for more, to push the envelope no matter what. So because that's what we're supposed to do, right? Like as pioneers in the niche, like we're pushing things forward. Like we have to pave the way, so like paving the road is not fun.
Is that additional pressure?
Right.
Do you feel that additional pressure on like everyone counting on you, looking up to you?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, yes and I did definitely when I was first, getting exposed to the spotlight. Like, but at this point, like I really don't give a fuck. Like I love everyone that's like a fan of mine and a supporter, but like people know that I'm just real. Like I'm not doing this. I'm doing this to show you guys, but I'm really doing it for myself. Like, and then the secondary product is that like I share it online, and then you guys all get to
the bigger
to
I've
taste
got,
it as well.
the more I realize like I don't even give a fuck what anybody else is saying. Like as long as I'm good, I did what I did.
Right.
That's my first mission. Afterwards, like motivate, inspire, and share. But I always just want to like make sure at the end of the like, bro, when people are like, oh. Did you see this move? Did you look at the? I don't
that
even pay
drives me
attention.
crazy.
Like it used to bug me, but nowadays I'm just
Bless
like,
you.
bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, nowadays I truly just don't care about that. I'm like, all right, well, I will have another.
Yeah, even
move
if we fail, I mean, again, like I said before,
I'm human,
like,
bro.
We're not impervious to bleeding. Like like you ever seen the movie Predator, where Arnold
Which one?
Schwarzenegger, the first one,
Oh.
right? Like he sees the blood, he's like, oh, the predator bleeds too. Like we all bleed, like so it doesn't matter. Like don't think that whether or not somebody shows it or not,
It's there.
The blood is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turn it up. You're saying? Yeah. It keeps. Yeah.
Just a little,
No, it's fine. It's chilling. It's chilling. Yeah. So all right. So I know we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but we're just shooting it up right now. Did you didn't really finish like your
We're going
It's-
full circle.
Full
yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to hair school, worked a bunch of jobs, tried to do the restaurant industry. I am not as social, so it did not work. I am so shy. Like, I made people uncomfortable. Like, it just doesn't work.
Like awkward.
Yes,
Yeah.
And you
yes.
still are today.
No, I think I
It is
believed
tough.
it back then.
I looked at like serving almost like a performance. It's like I come up to you, like I meet you, like I like to
on
crack
the show.
jokes. I like I want to be. It's like entertaining because like if you can have dinner and a good positive experience with somebody you're gonna make money.
Yeah,
like simple as that. So
I didn't have that mindset in the industry, which I wish I did at the time because I probably would have excelled, or maybe I wouldn't have got to where I am now. But then I ended up doing like very at home stuff. So like I marketing at home or learned how to code. So like I was like, yes, this is my thing. Being by myself at home, I like it.
at what age did you start doing that? At what age did you finish
Hair
school
school
and then?
was so I had graduated high school and went to hair school at the same time.
Okay, so like 18 years old.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
finished
yeah.
that.
Mhm. And hair school wasn't for me. I have 3 sisters and my mom. They utilized every single second of that, and I was like, no, this is not
sucked you
for
dry.
me. Yes, so that wasn't it for me. What
With
did I do?
no compensation.
No, exactly. Yeah, I was like, oh, great. So this is what it's gonna be like. Then after that, I did restaurant jobs. I did like nanny jobs.
Like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what did I do? Then I went to Nashville. So grew up in Jacksonville. Mom and family picked up and moved to Nashville. So then I went with them as well. I was 18. I could have stayed, but I was like, let's go with them. Or like 20-ish.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest. Those are when you start drinking, so you forget kind of what happened in those years. So
Can't relate.
Okay. It was a blur. Those years were a
a
blur.
little bit of a blur. But then we'll just say I got into cycling, and then I moved to LA for a little while, tried to be a bike racer. And then
How'd that
after
go?
all that, I did not so bad. I did
Okay.
pretty good. Yeah, I was
You were competing?
yeah.
So, like, how does that even work?
So I was in
What's the length of a race?
maybe only like 70 to 90 minutes. So it's like, think of F1. F1 in cycling. So
On
you're
a
just
bike.
going around a quick circuit.
You were literally just...
Choo, 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 choo. Yeah.
Okay.
So how many laps would you do in a race?
A lot. You would go
Like
around.
50 or
Did you make
100
any
or
money
something?
off that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, that's good.
Not
Like
enough
you
to
were
sustain
competing
me.
at like a higher level, essentially.
And I was sponsored too, so like they
Oh,
would
okay.
send me to these places too.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. But you would essentially go around the laps for like, they'd say an hour, and then after an hour they're like, okay, now you got 10 laps to go. So it was more of like you would just ride it out, for pun intended, for like that hour or that like 90 minutes, and then it was like, okay, now it's 10 laps to go. It's go time. So it was
And were you
essentially
trading
that was
during this time?
no. Mm-mm.
Okay. So you're
But-
like, how old are you at this time?
I know I was old enough to
22.
drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, 21, 22.
Alcohol was flowing.
It sounds like it.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But then
Haram.
I'd say it like towards the end of my cycling career was the beginning of my trading.
Okay.
I moved in with my uncle, so this was like the pivotal moment.
Right.
So okay, now we're living with my uncle.
So you're like, how old were you when you started trading, essentially?
22.
22. You're
22.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it was 20. I posted a video not too long ago. Did you see it of me? Everyone's like, "You look like you're 16." I was like, "Nah, bro, I'm like 22 in that video." But it was a video of my uncle teaching me,
Okay.
and we were looking at like the Google chart, and it was like 2015, I believe.
Right.
Okay.
That's whenever we were learning.
But my dad will always be like, I saw this stock at this price.
It's wild though. It's wild. I remember looking at Amazon, looking at Google, looking at Apple when it was so much lower. It's crazy. But so yeah, 22 is
Thanks
when I
to
learned.
inflation. It's all just inflation.
Yeah, my dad would be like, you know how much money I would have made if I would have bought this
Oh,
back when I
yes.
saw it at this price? I'm like, bro, just let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
But
yeah, so I was letting go of the cycling and then kind of getting into the trading.
Yeah.
And spent a year with him.
Do you think cycling helped you in trading?
I
Like the training aspect, the
Like
the
I'm
mental
sure you had
toughness.
like a routine, you had to follow your diet, whatever it was, like
I'm sure.
diet
I'm
routine,
sure there's some.
workouts.
Not that I can
It doesn't sound like you're
necessarily
too convinced.
correlate. No, you guys are trying
I
to convince
personally,
me.
I just think there's a big, for me, fitness and when I started running, like that really changed
Yeah.
a lot for me.
I think
you know?
I think definitely when I stick to disciplining myself outside the charts, it just translates in. Like
Yeah.
the majority of your day, at least when you're consistent, isn't spent on the charts. It's spent
Right.
living life.
Yeah,
Right.
So you got to be disciplined outside to take it inside.
Right.
that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I may be the exception.
Maybe, maybe.
No, it's.
I mean,
it's not. Yeah.
I challenge you to really discipline yourself to a plan and watch how your trades grow.
Right.
That's what he did with me, and then
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Fair. Fair.
yeah.
So
Well,
you started learning with your uncle.
Started learning with my uncle. At the time, 2 of my sisters also lived with him. And so it was my uncle, my aunt, my 2 younger sisters, and then my cousin, his daughter, Lauren. So all of us, and then me.
And you guys
We're
all
living.
learned?
Yeah. Well, he's always tried to teach our entire family. So there's family coming and going, friends. He has always just been open to like, all right, you come over, I'll teach you whatever you need to know. And my sister was the one that was a lot more adamant. His daughter was more into like school and being social. She knew she was going to learn, but it wasn't then.
Yeah.
And so my sister and I were the ones that were like, okay, we're sitting down and we're learning this. So the whole year we're learning as much as we possibly can. And at the end, she didn't make it. And I'm like, okay, this is a direct reflection.
How long was she learning for?
A year, same
A year,
as
okay.
me.
And what do you think is the reason why you've made it versus her?
Well, not even just her, but like, why did our entire family not make it? He
Yeah.
taught everyone,
And what do you
like
think
even
the
his
reason is?
daughter. I think that people truly just can't understand how long it's going to take. They can't get past the uncertainty, and the losses will just devour someone. So you gotta, that's the trifecta. You gotta be able to get past all those 3. And like, I guess the odds are just
Most
against
people
you.
just don't make it.
Yeah, they
it's-
don't. It's pretty wild.
It's just a very turbulent. It's hard for people to wrap their head around it. You know, like
Yeah.
that, because when you're losing money, most people are so like accustomed to like trading their time for money. You put
Yeah.
time in and you get money, right? Trading is like You put time in, you put money in, you put time in, you put money in, you put time in, you money in, you lose all that.
Yeah.
And then eventually, ideally, you get it back. You
Yeah.
know? So
And
it's,
more and more.
and more, right.
Yeah.
And you get all the time back, and then you get to keep all your time. And that's what the best return on your investment is that you return your time.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. You know, so it's just tough. Yeah, it's like, you know, not everyone can go into a ring and get punched in the face. You know,
True.
it's a metaphorical way of getting punched in the face.
It is. It really is. And
So-
it's hard to wrap my head around still. So now that some of the families see in my success, which they've always seen my uncle's success,
Right.
but now there's like this new way or this like second wind of now they want to
Right.
learn again. And I'm
Right.
just like,
And let me ask you this: do you think?
But that's that fleeting, like, you know, dedication is terrible. You know, like, because once you get exposed to it, if you're not driving yourself forward and into the space, you shouldn't be like, oh, you know, I trade. Oh, Tori, wow, you're doing so good. Maybe I should start doing it
yeah.
again. Like, you
Exactly.
need people that want to do this need to be innately driven.
Yeah.
Like, once you've been exposed to it, like once I was exposed to trading, I was like,
that was it
I
for
knew
me.
it was it
yeah,
for me.
like
That was it.
I didn't care who like was doing bad or good. It was like, yo, what am I doing? Like, I need to do
Exactly.
this, you know?
Yes.
So it's really
Yeah.
important.
Like, I tried to get all my friends to do it, and nobody wanted it. And then it's like very, you know, after everything came the way it did, obviously a lot of energy changed from different people, and now I get a ton of people tell me like, yo, bro, where do I start? Like, and I can always tell right away, like, because I've known them for so long, like, you're gonna do this or you're not. So I
Right.
always send them like a test, like, if you can get through this, so I'll send them like baby pips.
That's what I
If
do
you can
too.
get
I
through
tell
it-
people, listen, go to Baby Pips. If you finish this class here, I'll help you out.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'll actually
I will
I'll
give
help
you my time. I'll
yeah,
help you
I'll
out.
send
do
you my
everything.
shit, or I'll do a couple of sessions with you. But like,
I'd love to.
I need you to like
Show me.
do it yourself.
That you're
Yeah,
ready,
like
that
you
you're
gotta.
actually
I
in it.
can't want it for you. You
Yeah.
can't want it for anybody. You know.
And sometimes I
and how
really
many
want
of
it for
those
people, but I
actually make
can't.
it?
I haven't seen one yet.
Okay,
I
same.
know a few people have made it through Baby Pips for like
Yeah?
I've sent it to. Like, yeah, no, there
I
are
haven't
people
seen
here
one.
that like actually get, you know, entrenched in it and they
Yeah.
actually go somewhere with it for sure. But again, it's all dependent on the person.
Yeah.
You know, like I have my buddy Lenny who used to work at the restaurant with me, and good kid, nice young kid, like, you know, had some type of entrepreneurial like endeavors before, and he ended up coming to my boot camp, like that one boot camp that I did, like, I don't know, like at the beginning of this year. And he's doing his thing now. Like, he checks in with
Okay.
me, and like,
That's good.
but he saw, you know, he saw the potential with, obviously, like somebody, you know, it's a lot closer to home when somebody you used to know or used to be like, you know, working with, you see them like become successful. You know, it can be a good thing, but that's not like, that's just like the you know, their first taste. You know,
Yeah,
once
just the
once the taste is on your
introduction.
tongue, either you like, damn, I want more of that,
Or
or
you don't want anything.
you just go back to doing what you're doing. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I'd say a lot of family and friends that have asked me, actually, I'm going to go ahead and say every single one. I have a little course that I recorded like 2 years ago, and I was like, okay, make it through this, and then we'll talk.
Right.
None of them make
Oh,
it through.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
They don't. Yeah. They don't. They just don't believe in the idea. Like, they don't see themselves doing it, I guess. You know.
I
don't-
guess, yeah.
They just
know what it
like
is.
they like what they see now. But are they willing to go through everything that they didn't see? And the answer most of the time is no.
Yeah.
Like, bro, there were some dark days. Like, I know we've
So
all had them. Like,
dark, yeah.
There are,
Oh, yeah.
there are dark days. There are
been-
dark
yeah,
days.
it's been
for
dark week. Bro, my
past,
mom-
present, future. There
my
will be dark
mom
more.
literally has messages with her friends where she's like, I think my son is depressed. Like, all he's doing is sitting in his room. Like, he never comes out. He barely eats. And it's like, word got back to me that she said that, and I was like, all right. And I remember hearing my mom on the phone with my uncle, like, man, this generation of kids, like, they think they're all gonna become millionaires, like, online, and like they're all screwed up in the head and what. And I was just like, okay. And I was like, watch me then, you know. But I mean, obviously, I've been doing what I'm not a millionaire yet, but
Yeah,
I would definitely get there. Like,
yeah, but
and
again,
more
don't,
and more and more.
Don't like undervalue the journey, bro. Like,
No,
you know,
not at all. Yeah,
if the journey was short, it wouldn't be a journey. You know?
exactly.
This is really like I say all the time. It's like climbing a mountain. You know, don't expect to climb Mount Everest, and
Yeah.
people die climbing Mount Everest all the time.
Yeah.
I'd rather do what I truly believe in and put my heart into it 100% and fail. Like, if I died tomorrow and I failed,
Right.
at least I knew I was doing this, rather than give up and go do something that
Like
I
I
didn't
said,
want to do.
it's the glory, bro. I'm not doing
Yeah.
this for the money or for the status, or I'm doing this for the glory of succeeding in a place that people die every day.
Yeah.
So
You know?
I almost worked a job once.
Wait,
like
so
an
you've never had a
actual-
job?
I've done my own stuff,
He's
like
never had a
freelance
job.
work.
Never had a job.
I've done freelance
I
work.
tell him. I mean, at this point, it's too far gone. But when we was first getting together, I was like, bro, you should really get a job. You know, it would teach
Just
you
to-
some good
But
qualities.
like honestly,
you know?
yeah. I mean, yeah, I could have learned some stuff, but to me, it was all I just couldn't wrap my head around doing something that I didn't love and that I knew like the work I was doing, I could have made. Much
Yeah,
more
when
than.
you don't have a better alternative, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But when you have, obviously, you've been exposed to like other opportunities, and you know.
I just always found another way.
Yeah.
And so like I almost did once. It was gonna be like some like online knife selling thing, and I called my cousin Kareem. who's,
Cutco.
like, yeah. so I called my cousin Kareem. I'm like, yeah, bro, like whatever. I'm gonna be making this much, and
It's
he's
like, the IML of the
Oh my god.
of
Yeah.
the
it is.
the cutlery industry.
And he tells me, he goes, do you want to do it? And I was like, not really. And he goes, well then fuck that. Why would you ever do something that you don't want to do? And he told me, he's like, you have like there is no limits on what you can do. He's like, you can do so much. Like I see it in you. And he's been like honestly the biggest influence and role model and things in my life. And I can't thank him enough for everything he's done. He's my favorite person in the world. So like for him to instill these beliefs and always tell me, bro, no, before I even would love myself or feel, I struggle to like feel love from people. But from him, I always knew he loved me. He had my best interest. He was looking out for me. So I was just like, what? I'm just giving him his flowers, bro, because of everything he's done for me. He's the biggest person behind anything I've done, you know? So,
Yeah, you
Here
don't
was
make it.
that.
You don't make it on your own, bro.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of help along the way for sure.
Yeah,
Even
I
if
had
it's
a
just
conversation with
emotional
my
help.
uncle today, and we've gone through like at the very beginning we would talk every single day. I'd screenshot every single trade I've made. I'm like, okay, look at this trade, look how much I made. Oh, I lost. Or there'd be days where I did lose and I didn't call him, and he'd call me and be
You're
like, he
like,
just
"What?
knew.
Well, yeah."
He just knew I lost.
How you feeling? You feel
Yeah,
all right,
that's
you know?
exactly how it went. He's like, how you doing? I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, so I lost today. And but there were phases, you know, as I moved away and like we kind of lost a little bit of touch and connection. And now like he called me today and he's like, okay, so what happened after you closed that trade? I was like, oh, well, actually got back in. And the craziest thing is I somehow inspired him to trade oil, which is, it's just funny to see that I even
You
had
inspired him,
even
yeah.
the slightest bit of influence. And he's like, yeah, I got in and out too. It was pretty cool. It's a crazy one. I was like, yeah,
awesome.
it is,
It's
isn't
a
it?
crazy one.
I was like, how cool to like,
Yeah.
now we've sparked that back. And
Yeah, of course.
I remember when I was up on that 20K trade that I had, I had to call him. Like, who else am I going to call? I was like,
Right.
listen, Uncle Mike, I want to close this. And I had called him when I was up 16K. And I was like, I want to close this. And he's like, okay, well, let's evaluate it. Are you hard on cash right now? And I was like, no, I'm good. He's like, okay. Has it crossed your line? I was like, no, it hasn't crossed my line. I already knew what answer I was going to get when I called
Right.
him.
okay, so now
Because he wanted you to make a decision based on the market and not on your emotions that are fluctuating based on
Right.
the money.
Yeah.
Right? Like I say that all the time is that when you want to close a trade or when you want to do anything related to the chart, it has to be related to the chart. Like
Related to the chart.
everything that you feel in here has nothing
but
to
I think
do.
the questions he asked were about like if she was hard on money.
Well, that's a
That's a whole
separate
different-
circumstance. If the money becomes so much to the point where it would heavily influence your quality of life, or it would just give you so much security in your life or anything,
You know?
that's a point where the chart is irrelevant and really
Just do
like
it. Just take it.
the money. Yeah, you should be taking them. Like I was telling him, like when I had one of my biggest days, I was up. I was holding this trade for like a week, and I was basically fluctuating like hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. It was like Sunday down 100, Monday morning like up 100 plus, then Monday London down 100 plus. Then I put more trades in. I took money from the sidelines, put more money in my account to
Okay.
hold the margin.
100,000, like not,
Right,
not
yeah.
100.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
I started
God.
like 400 and ended like the balance was like 600 plus. But basically,
400,000.
basically Tuesday's like New York session, I was up like 450,000, and my equity in the account first time I had touched $1 million. Like, and I was like, "There's $1 million in this account,"
That's
and then
wild.
and then London session that evening, I'm down 250,000. So like,
Oh my God.
so it went from literally $1 million plus to like my equity was like 300 something. So
Yikes.
ridiculous swing. And I just told myself in my head, like, bro, if this trade, because when it came back into profit again, like another like 400, plus thousand. And I just was, when I was in that moment, I was like, if this trade is to, because obviously I'm always open to the outcome, as we all are, like that. Anything could happen, right?
Yeah.
Like just because you're up X amount of pips or dollars or whatever, at any moment it can vaporize you, or it can go the other way as well. But
that's true.
we acknowledge that any moment you can have a bad day, right? So like if this trade turned into a bad day, this would be one of the most foolish decisions I had ever done in my life. You know, like I just kept saying like I'm not gonna live this down if it doesn't go. Obviously the potential is unlimited here. You know, it could be a millions and millions of dollar trade, which it would have ended up actually being, because it was literally stuck in like a 250 point range on US 30
and
for
then
like.
broke out?
And then eventually it broke out. It was NFP that Friday. I closed the trade on I think Wednesday or Thursday at like 300. It was like 300 to 4,000 after slippage and everything happened. Like, was great day,
yeah,
right?
Congratulations.
Sounds great.
Great
That's
day.
amazing.
However, NFP came up, spiked it. It came up and then spiked down one more time, and then that following Monday, like after the weekend, it just broke the range and then fell like 2,000 points. Like over the next couple weeks, I ended up catching more trades as it was falling.
Okay.
But and then I had my next biggest day, but still, it had those trades that I had were $5 to $10 million worth of trades.
Oh my God, that's so wild to
Which
think about.
to think I sat through it for almost 2 weeks, and like I was this close to. But again, it didn't even matter because I know in my heart, like that's why I don't dwell on it, because I know I made the right decision.
Yeah.
Because again, had it gone the other way, that amount of money was so detrimental to like just my trading career like that. If it went the wrong, I would have never lived it. Yeah, I still would have been up in the account in profit, but going from $1 million to like 400,000 is like that's crazy,
wild.
bro.
Yeah. So I feel like that's something everyone should take away. Like, I know everybody's been caught in
and
like,
you might not be you guys might not be in $300,000 trades or even $30,000 trades, but even a $3,000 trade can really build your situation, your bank account, your confidence, your peace of mind. Or even a 5K trade that you made. Like, I don't underestimate the 5K, the 3K, the 7K, the this. And then you just made $20,000, and then now you're in position to make your next biggest trade where you have more confidence, more risk available. Like, you know, so don't underestimate building up your balance or even making consistent withdrawals and building your bank account, because just having too much risk on or you know will always be your downfall. You know, like you have to be able to de-risk and de-leverage yourself. Leverage yourself when it makes sense, but you also have to know how to de-leverage as well. You know, so that's why like when I was building that account, I had taken money out. Once I got up to like the $500,000 range, I was like, okay, I need to take a couple $100,000. I didn't even withdraw it. All I did was just put it in my wallet, because I was like, okay, you're being really risky. You're doing well. You're making good trades. But at the same time, like, just put this on the sidelines for a rainy day. And then being able to deploy that capital during that trade while I was, like, scaling in. Because the first entries I had were really not that good. They were, like, a 1 to 2. And then I scaled in at a better price and scaled in. And each time I scaled in, I was already full margin. So I needed that extra capital to, like, free up the margin. But that's what ended up allowing me to make so much extra money on that trade, because I had this whole swing trade set up, whatever. And as the entries, you know, started confirming at better prices, that's when I was able to take advantage of it, you know. So, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without being smart enough to know, like, hey, okay, take some money, put it to the side, you know, whatever type thing, you know. So
that's fair.
Yeah, I've done that quite a few times. You know, it's a slippery. I don't recommend it.
Slippery slope.
It's not financial advice, by the way. You know,
the reason why it works for him is because a lot of people say like, "Oh yeah, I'm willing to lose this" when they're full margin, and they're just really not. But James, like, I know if it came down to it, like tomorrow you'd be back at Morton's serving tables.
I mean, I'm not ever going back there. But if
it came down to it, bro,
Instagram shut down and all this shit went away, and all this, you know, prop firms were illegal and everything, like, and all sources of income were shut down. Yeah, I would go to a restaurant and just grind it back.
And you do it like knowing like, okay, that was my choice.
Right.
I can't do that. Like if I had 400K and I let it slide, like I'm not comfortable with that.
When you know where you're gonna go, like being able to put it all on the line, because you know, even if it doesn't work out, you know exactly what it's gonna take to get you right back where you were, right back.
Yeah.
So it's like, it just doesn't hurt. Like the losses that I'm even finding myself taking, like I had when I went to the summit and everyone was interviewing me. They're like, "What's your biggest loss?" It was $7,000 at the time. Oh, and then we kind of talked about this in one of the other podcasts. But then after that, it was actually an $11,000 loss. That one didn't even sting. It didn't even sting. I was like, I was so confident. I was like, $11,000. Okay, it's part of the process, part of the
Right.
system.
You detach from the
Right back.
outcome of whatever's going to happen. you
Yeah.
know?
And then we made 20,000.
And that's why you were able to make 20,000 because you were like, okay, I've been.
Let me
here
ask you,
before.
is that trade you were in today? If you would have caught up Uncle ICT, there's a
Some people think that my uncle is the ICT guy.
I don't know. Is he?
No, he's not.
Yeah, so if you would have called him up, he would have asked you that same checklist. So maybe next time, just put yourself in that same, in that same boat that allowed you to make your last biggest day. Because did it have any of the confluences you need to get out of the trade?
No, it didn't.
See, so-
Listen, I know, all right. You preaching
But
the choir.
okay, but you made a mistake, and now
I did.
and now.
And what are you gonna do next
That's
time?
a great thing to have to be in position to make a mistake. You came out successful, but you can learn something, and that can potentially benefit you 10x more on the next one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Simple as that. Like that's
Yeah.
all I look at it as. Like, okay, when you fuck up, like every mistake, there's a valuable lesson worth
to be
more
learned,
than
yeah.
whatever it is that you made a mistake on. So.
And
Yeah,
the-
you could have had an extra $5,000 or $10,000.
Yeah.
But on the next one, when you have bigger risk, that's going to be an extra $50,000 or $100,000
Right.
by holding the trade and
See?
being smart.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And I originally going into this trade had the right mindset, had the right setup, and what's funny is I was showing you that trade and you're like, why did you get in there? That's pretty funny,
Which one?
actually.
What? Nah,
Oh,
hold
no,
on.
we'll talk about it a little bit later. It's fine. It's all right.
no,
It was a
no.
great entry. It was a
bust out
great
the
entry.
laptop right now.
Yeah, we got to look at this.
Okay, but
What prayer is this? Is it oil?
it's oil. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I'm in a long position. So the oil kind of ramped up, made that $20,000. Pulled back a little bit, made how much did I make? Like $2,000 on that tiny pullback.
Selling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then kind of hit another top, that last high, and then looked like it was rolling over again. Did a little fake out, got me in, snapped back on me, lost 7, and then I got another reason to, okay, we need to be able to change our mind. One thing that my uncle was just
Unbiased.
so adamant about. You have got to be able to change your mind. It's okay to be wrong. It is so okay to be wrong.
Right.
So like, yes, I took that $7,000 loss, went in long. That thing took off. So now I closed it, today for like 5,600-ish. But I had the right mindset at first. I had the right setup. I even took off the profit and loss, and I'm like, okay, I'm just looking at purely the candles. But then there's like that thing inside you that made me pull up the numbers, and I'm like, oh, okay, close.
$5,000. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm
Because
like,
it's so easy to make the decision. Like you give power to things that like you say yes to. Like you said yes to, like you gave power to that greed. like,
Whatever
you-
that- yes.
Sometimes it's powerful to just say like to just be reserved and kind of like. It's really situational. I don't think it's a bad thing. Like you can't go broke taking profit.
I mean,
9
yes,
times
that's
out
fair,
of 10.
that's fair,
Like,
that's fair.
You made money. You were successful. Like, and next time to just make your decision should just always be based on something technical.
Yeah.
Like or fundamental or whatever. There needs to be a catalyst for your decision, and your catalyst was really completely like removed from the chart. It was just really an internal decision.
Yeah, very much
Which
so.
is not, I mean, again, you made money, so like it's not really the worst thing, but there was definitely a more efficient way to go about the trade.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, if we truly want to continue to level up, if I want something bigger than that 20K trade, like I'm
Right.
gonna
you
have to.
yeah,
If we want to make fortunes.
right.
Pun intended.
And if you want to, and with those trades that become, that run far, like you have to be willing to give it back to get more.
That too,
You gotta
very
be
much
willing
so.
to give it all back.
Bro,
to get
yesterday, I was
Right.
up $10,000. It came
Right.
all the way down to $700
more. Yeah, he basically we're at the show the day before. He's floating, everything.
hours before. Like,
And then, it went from like what it was at 10K or
It was
10.5,
like 10 and a half.
and then it went down to 6, and then you entered more trades.
no,
on
I
EU.
didn't enter more.
No, on EU.
No, I didn't enter more. I just moved my stop a little. I gave it the
Oh,
proper
yeah,
stop.
yeah.
I will say.
Yeah.
My stop was a little too tight. I adapted, moved it a little bit, and it came back down to like $700. And
Yeah.
then
I traced all the way.
and then
But I was lit. I mean, it was lit.
It
that
was
you were-
lit.
Yeah.
And then I called James. I'm like, yo, I closed. And then the only time he goes, probably should have held. But I think it was a valid close.
Yeah, no.
Cashed out. That was my biggest day on a live account.
Exactly. That's
done
that's
more on
what, that's
fortunes,
why
but-
it was more important for you to
Yeah.
close. It really wasn't about the trade at that point. It was more so about like, hey, this is the potential for me to have my biggest trading day ever, and it
Well,
would
not
be
ever.
foolish for me to
On a
like
live account.
allow my biggest trading on a live account. Yeah.
Yeah. made more on fortunes.
Right. It would be foolish for me to put myself in position to fuck this up.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And I want, bro, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah.
Closed, withdrew, sold the crypto,
Congratulations.
transferred to the bank.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's real.
Yeah. No, both of you did some good things.
Got some cash this morning.
I'm waiting for XRP to hit 50 cents.
No, I know.
Yeah. And we're gonna have a nice day.
What?
But,
You left me completely.
I'm sorry,
hanging.
I hit your shoulder.
Oh, okay.
Here, try again. There we go. Got it.
So, but yeah, no, that's dope. I know we're about like over an hour at this
Wow.
point. So yeah,
Look at us.
I
We
can't
can talk
wait.
all day.
It was-
No, we really can. I mean, you're gonna be here. I'm sure
All right,
we're
let me
gonna
ask
do
you
another
just
one of these.
one quick question.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we didn't have any like real like structure for this. I just wanted to, just
Yeah, I mean, it's just natural.
share some value,
What's one thing that you can't stand about like traders out there who people look up to, that you think?
One thing I
should be
can't
changed?
stand. I mean, a lot of people know how I feel about this, but
I mean, we can call out names too.
Nah, I'm not. Nah. I just think obviously the general like lack of transparency, but also just
And explain that a little further, because some people
yeah.
are sold on what they think is transparency.
Yeah, I mean, just like it's not even like I'm not opposed to making money in the trading niche outside of the market itself, right? Like, there's obviously a lot of opportunity between selling classes or signals or doing mentorships
Partnerships or
or
social
partnerships
media.
or
There's
having
everything.
equity in a brand or or selling clothes or products, like whatever, general entrepreneurship. I'm cool for that, but just don't lie to people about where your money really comes from. So like, if you made $5 million this year and a couple $100,000 came from trading, and then you said, yeah, trading made me $5 million this year, like, that's just disingenuous,
That's fair, yeah.
And it just sets a bad expectation for people coming into the niche, and people look at you like you're a god and this and that, and it's really like the farthest thing from the truth. So like, that's one thing that bothers me. And yeah, just people are like, like they haven't really done the work, like they regurgitated some information, or they're not even speaking from their own experience, like, and now you're going to try and lead people to a destination that you've never even been to yourself.
That sounds scary.
Like, that's a problem. Like, and people don't even know. It's so easy to fake. Like, it's so easy to fake the profits, fake the trades, get the fucking supercar for $3,000-$4,000 a month, which is like fucking pennies to like a lot of people. Like, and they think people don't even know, like, it's not that really hard to get like a lot of these things that are so coveted, and it is what it is. But it's just, as long as we keep it true to ourselves, and there's good and evil everywhere. It's a constant battle. You can't have one without the other. So like, as long as we're on what we feel is the right side of it, then more power to us.
Exactly.
Simple
And
as
all we
that.
can hope for is that our audiences can have that discernment and be able to tell, because we can only do so much.
People are not. Some people are
Here's the
stupid,
thing,
but people are not stupid.
I think it will all, like, living a lie is gonna catch up with you eventually, and it's bad because like so many of these people are so deep in it, like they can't even escape, and it's just like they're making it a bigger problem, and it's gonna.
Some people are so deluded that they don't. Like, it's not. They don't even think that they're lying. Like, they think that they're being. Like.
I've seen people publicly criticize other people for the exact things they're doing, because they've just convinced themselves that theirs is real.
Right.
Which just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's a fucked up game.
What's one thing you can't stand?
I would say it's like how embarrassing it is to say that you're a day trader. Like, what a bummer. Like, I want to be looked up to because of that.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that freaking sucks.
No,
for me.
yeah, there's definitely a very negative connotation around Forex and trading, like, and people don't believe like that it's real. And even like we were jogging to the car after the show the other day, and we were just having a conversation, and
It was more of a
and
James
I
tangent.
said that like, oh, that 20-30K a month, like literally as we were like like jogging by a group of people, were like, I said like, yeah, 20-30K a month for you is like not even gonna be like a thing, and then the guy goes, that's cap, like, whatever, like, people have such a small, like,
they've limited themselves.
realm of perspective, like, so it's, but it doesn't matter, like, it's really it's really up to you. Like, there's nothing is impossible. Like, you can make $1 million a day. Like, there's somebody out there that's making $1 million a day, and there's no difference between me and them and you and them, and
someone's my future self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, along with all the other people.
You got some ways to go, but
it doesn't matter how, it doesn't even, bro, I don't care if it's 10, 20, like,
of course.
It's about the fact that I know that it's going to be there.
Have those crazy, unrealistic dream expectations.
Bro,
but also make realistic progress every day.
When
or
I
every
was
week,
when I was running track, I ran like my first race my sophomore year, and I asked my coach, "What's the school record?" And it was some time that was like, I think it was like at the time,
just astronomical for you.
yeah. And I had just ran a time that like is a joke compared to that. I just finished my race. I asked him, and I look him dead in the eyes, and in my head I'm like, damn. And I look him dead in the eyes, and I go, I'm gonna break that. Like 4 months later, I broke it. So like even dude, I knew I was gonna do it. I didn't know how it was gonna come, but I knew I was just gonna take the steps and work as hard as I could, and I knew it was coming. And then the day it happened, I didn't even check the time. Like when I finished the race, and I was like, I know I just broke it. Craziest feeling of my life. Like that was a great day. But yeah, I set this crazy goal and I accomplished it because the reality is it isn't crazy if you believe in it. If you believe in yourself.
Of course, I mean, if it exists in your mind, it exists somewhere in the world.
Exactly.
You just have to work on manifesting
Some alternate
it.
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. If you can think of it, it can be materialized for sure.
There's always a way to do it. Like
So.
even if you want to fly, you can build a flying suit. Like there's jetpacks now.
Okay.
There's always some sort of way. It might not be the exact like I'm gonna flap my own arms to fly, but
Yeah.
I mean, if it doesn't exist, you better find a way to create it.
exactly.
So what do we want to leave everyone with that just tuned into this 70-minute podcast?
Oh my
Man,
god.
they know us.
Well, if they've made it to the end.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean,
they've missed out if they didn't.
I mean, if anything, maybe they're just trading and we're in the background just talking.
Right.
I would say, what can you take away from this? That we bleed too. Like,
Right.
you're at a different level than I am. I'm at a
Right.
different level than these viewers are. You're at a different level than we're all at different levels. But
Right.
Yep.
I have struggles in my trading. You've got
course,
struggles
right.
in your
All
trading.
of
It's
us.
just it's different levels. Just coming back to that relatability that we bleed to.
Right,
Yeah.
climbing is climbing, right? We're all climbing the slope, and doesn't matter where you are as long as you continue climbing and understanding that it's gonna be fatiguing, right? Like it's just not easy. Like you're gonna, like I say all the time, you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna lose your footing. You're gonna fall back down damn, I was just up here and now I'm down here. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be discouraging and it's gonna be hard, and you just gotta focus on getting your footing right every step that you take forward, just being safe and secure. Take risk here and there, but obviously calculate the risk. Like, hey, if I don't make it up to this next rock, like I'm going back down
Yeah.
like pretty
Yeah.
far, and like and I need
Yeah.
to accept the reality that where I could be if it doesn't go out my way. So always be unbiased with that, but at the same time, like don't let that limit you.
Yeah.
Like don't let the limit. There are no limitations. Like
Because it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
nothing like this. I can't even be any more grateful than I am now. It's like
Right.
Yeah.
it
I
is
agree.
worth every single year that it took me. It took me longer probably than you guys. Maybe
Yeah.
close to the same
yeah.
as you, but it's just like I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't care how long it took.
Right.
It is so worth it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets discouraging along the way. Like
It does.
as much as you can preserve that mentality, it's not always like 100% intact. So like, and that's part of the bleeding is like things like I almost at a point where I wanted to quit trading. At a point I was like, damn, like I don't know if this is for me. Like,
Yeah.
and then the following year, like everything was lit for me. So it just don't really and everyone's journey is going to be different, but don't underestimate the idea that it can't happen for you in a short period of time. Like, but you also have to be realistic in your approach. Like I said, have the crazy expectations, but also you need to be realistic in your day. Like, win the morning, get up, make your fucking bed, drink your water, like take care of yourself, and then go to fucking work on whatever it is that you want to do. Win that day, win those 6-7 days of the week.
You won the
And
week,
then you
4
win the
weeks.
weeks, win the months, win the year. Like simple, it really is like that, So, but not everyone, you got to be aware of yourself and your time every single day. Like, what am I doing? Like, you have to audit yourself. Like, literally, sometimes you have to just step out of your own body and look at yourself objectively. Like, okay, what is James doing today? Is James being productive today? Is James dicking around? Is James really is he
Yeah.
scrolling his phone? Is he doing some stupid shit?
For me, like one of my like hacks on that is I write down everything I'm gonna do tomorrow. I write down today, and then tomorrow I make sure in the process, okay, I gotta check this up, and I make sure I keep things going like that. So like honestly, for me, I'm gonna keep my takeaway real short and sweet, which is just always believe in yourself. Like fall down 7 times, get up 8. So like I even think of it kind of like, when you slingshot something, the further back you pull it, the farther it's gonna go. So like treat your career or your journey just like that. The more you fall, just understand that it's all building up for just a greater reward. There's always so much more out there for you.
Yeah, amen to that.
Right?
Alrighty. I think that was a solid run.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Thank
your
you, Tori,
time,
for
Tori
coming.
Yeah, of
Trades,
course. Thank
Ali
you guys.
Trades, and James Storms, Fortune's Funding,
Fortune's Funding.
Umbrella. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we take care of people over here. We share value, and yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day wherever you're at. Thanks for tuning in.